Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to the desktop for another rules breakdown. And this week I would like to cover Mutant Chronicles, the 1993 role-playing game from Target Games, originally a Swedish role-playing game, although the license is now owned elsewhere. Now this is the first edition, and it's a lovely setting and setup for a game. It's very much 90s excess. It's lots of big armored shoulder pads, huge machine guns, and shooting demons in the face with guns. What more can you ask for? Now, fortunately, Mutant Chronicles has a sample character of a type in the rulebook. So if we flick onto page 146 and 144, we can see the front page of the character sheet with their attributes and their combat statistics, which will come in useful later. And they have their skills here. Now, the system is basically you are rolling a d20 under your skill. So, looking down here, we have oratory at 8. So the character wants to roll under an 8 on a d20 to succeed. But on skill roll section, there's modifications. And some suggested ones, for example, if you're wounded. If you're wounded in more than one body part, a -3. So that 8 becomes a 5. There's light modifications, weathers, stress, movement, equipment. Of course, these are suggested, and the Games Master can modify as they want. But let's say the character's wounded, they're trying an oratory roll, so they're rolling against a 5. They roll their dice, they get a 2, and they succeed. It's as simple as that. If you roll a 1, then it's a critical success. If you roll a 20, then it's a critical failure. You cannot succeed on a 20 at all. Now, initiative is dealt with on page 155. And we can see that you roll 1d10 and add his core score. So going back to 146 for the character sheet, you can see the core is 17. We're rolling a d10 and adding. So we've got a 2, and we have 19. So he gets to go before anybody with a lower roll, after anybody with a higher roll. But he can choose to hold his actions. Now, everybody gets by default 3 actions per combat round. So we look here, actions per round, 3. So this character has 3. They can modify up later through play. And other creatures will have more. Now these type of actions are broken down into movement, attack, avoid, and special actions. Other actions like picking a lock, priming explosives, it suggests take 3 actions, so usually a whole combat round unless you've got extra actions. Now, the avoid is your dodge. Now, when it comes to your action, you can spend as many actions as you want, but you've got avoid. So if you're attacked, you can be dodging. Now you can spend your avoid actions whenever you're attacked before you get to go, so before your initiative turn, and you can keep some aside in case you're attacked after your initiative turn. So there's an advantage to going fast in that you get to attack other people, but you don't know if you're holding actions back for your avoid to defend yourself later, or whether those will be wasted. So it's a bit of a gamble going first in combat, because you could spend too many actions and not have any avoids left, so you'll take damage later, or you could be keeping actions aside for defending yourself, which will then be wasted because you don't turn out getting attacked. Now, combat is just skill rolls, as per the rest of the system. So if we flick over to page 156, we can see there are modifiers here, uncontrolled attacks and range. So you apply those as necessary. But basically, if we go back to the character sheet, we can see the character's skill values. And this character has a missile weapons of skill of 6. They have a melee weapon skill of 11. And we're just trying to roll under that on a d20. So they're shooting a missile, they roll, they get a 17, and they miss. Now, critical successes and critical failures have slightly different effects. If I go back, perfect hits and fumbles. A perfect hit can never be avoided. So if you get a critical hit, the target cannot dodge it, and in melee combat they cannot parry it. It automatically inflicts maximum damage. So you don't roll for damage, you just do the maximum damage, without any deductions for armor. So that's how a critical hit works. A critical fumble is always a miss, even if the barrel is inside the mouth of an unconscious victim or the blade rests against his throat. The result is you automatically lose your following 1d6 actions, even if they span into subsequent rounds. During this time, you may not perform any actions at all, not even avoiding or taking cover. Also see weapon jams and special rules for fumbling hand grenades. So, you are attempting to roll under your skill to hit a target. 1s have critical effects, and 20s have critical effects. Now, when you hit a target, if we turn to page 159, you have to calculate the attack result. So you roll 1d20 to determine the hit location. So if you're in close combat, missile combat, you roll a d20 to see where it hits. So we're saying it was missile combat, we've rolled a 13, so we're hitting them in the stomach. You then roll the proper damage dice for the weapon, subtract the target's armor value, and the result is the number of hits the target takes from the BPs in the target area. So for the damage for the weapon, if we turn over to page 199, we can see heavy machine guns. And let's have a look at the charger here. Now its damage is 1d6 plus 6. So we're rolling 1d6, we get a 2 plus 6, we've got 8 points of damage. And if the target's wearing armor in that location, so in their stomach, which is likely, and we turn to the page for armor, we can see equipment here. So ballistic nylon, armor value 2. So if you're wearing ballistic nylon, it takes 2 off the attack. So the 8 damage becomes a 6. Bulletproof Vest has armor value of 3. Combat armor has armor value of 4 to 8. Composite armor has an armor value of 7 to 12. Flak jacket has an armor value of 2. So taking the armor off the attack and then applying whatever's left. So as we said, if they're wearing ballistic nylon there, the damage was 8, 2 comes off it, leaving 6 damage. Now health is dealt with on your character sheet. You have different health values for each location. So this character here has 7 in their left leg, 7 in their right leg, 6 in their left arm, 6 in their right arm, 6 in their stomach, 7 in their chest, and 3 in their head. Now, if they have only 1 hit point left in a location, it has an effect. So, in your arms, it has a -5 on all attacks, if you only have 1 hit point left in your arms. In your legs, you get -1 step action. If it's in your chest, stomach, or head, you get -1 action. If you've got 0 hit points left in a location, then you can't use those arms. You've got -2 steps actions, and in your chest, your stomach, or your head, you're unconscious. And for advancement, if we flip to page 152, all the rules here seem to be clustered towards the back of the book, before the equipment, but there's so much world building earlier in the book. But improving skills. As the adventures progress, your character will gain experience in old skills and also learn new skills. This is reflected by awarding characters with hero points, which are converted into skill picks or raised basic capabilities. So for 1 hero point, you may make 1 free skill pick, but not in a skill which you already have 8 skill picks. So your skills can go up to 8 maximum, and it costs you 1 hero point for each of those levels. Doesn't matter how high the skill is, until it's up at 8, it costs you 1 point to increase. For 1 hero point, you may raise your personality value by 1. There's no limit to how high your personality can be. For 3 hero points, you may raise any other basic capability by 1. There is no limit to how high values you may have. You only raise it 1 at a time. So that is a very brief look at Mutant Chronicles. Now, it is a lovely game. I really do love all the high glossy artwork in it. Now, there is some lovely imagery there. My copy is obviously falling apart because it's getting a bit old. But, for example, Imperial here is obviously based on British. So we've got Scottish Highlanders there with claymores and Royal Marines of some kind. We've got America and Japan playing a large part in it as well. We've got some lovely equipment pages here, big machine guns, minigun there with a built-in flamethrower. It's so over the top, it's so much fun, and the rules are pretty decent. Anyway, I think I've whittled on quite enough as usual. So thank you very, very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below, as it does me massive favours with the YouTube algorithm. But most of all, as always, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.